Hello, these are my parsnips growing in a 10-inch water bucket. There are 4 parsnips in that bucket. The bucket really isn't big enough for a vegetable that has the potential to grow as long as a parsnip does. These buckets are only 10 inches tall. But we like trying things at homegrown veg, so we're trying to grow 4 parsnips in a 10-inch bucket. You'll have seen these before. These are my carrots growing in a 10-inch water bucket. There are 12 carrots in that bucket. I know that because I sowed the seeds meticulously using a seed sowing template, and they're looking really nice as well. But we're not talking about what we're growing in buckets today. We're going outside now. We're going to have a look at my garden, my 3 raised beds, see what's happening out there. I think this is the first time I've taken the camera to the raised beds this year, so some of the stuff in those raised beds is really kicking on, particularly the brassicas. Now when we get out there, you'll see I've got them netted, and I've got them netted for 2 reasons. The first reason is to keep the baby sparrows off, because they love picking leaves from cabbages, from any of the brassica family really, and lettuce, and that's what I've got in one of those raised beds. So we're trying to keep the sparrows off there at the moment, and then when the butterflies arrive, I would like to try and keep the butterflies off as well, because they just want to lay eggs, caterpillars emerge, and they eat more brassicas than I do. They get more of my cabbage than I do, but hopefully not this year. Right, let's go outside and have a look. We've got it in the raised beds. Before we check out the raised beds, let's check out these broad beans. These are Bunyard's Exhibition. I planted 32 of these that I set off in deep root trainers. The fence behind is a 5-foot fence, and that's 32 Bunyard's Exhibition broad beans, all nearly as tall as it. There's lots of bees about, there's lots of flowers on those broad beans. Hey, we're looking forward to a bumper crop this year. Fingers crossed, and provide the wind doesn't flatten them. I've got them staked with bamboos, but anything could happen, couldn't it? Could get black fly in them, wind could snap them off, anything could happen. But yeah, we're happy with the progress of the broad beans. At the bottom of the screen, nearest to the camera, in this raised bed, are some lettuce. There are some gaps because we've already been eating lettuce. So we've been taking lettuce from this raised bed this year. Next to the lettuce are 2 rows of beetroot. Behind the 2 rows of beetroot are a row of parsnips. I think the variety is Javelin. They are quite small and they look as though they might get crowded out. And they might get crowded out by the broccoli. This is the broccoli. That's a short row of broccoli, and there are 5 plants growing there. And as you can see, it's been raining. Just behind the broccoli is some kale. I think you'll probably see the kale poking its head up. And there are 5 kale plants growing in this raised bed. We've already been taking kale, but we've only been taking leaves as we need it. And right at the back, behind that debris mesh, are 5 Brussels sprouts. The variety is Maximus. They're the plants that really have me worried in terms of butterflies, because any time I've ever grown Brussels sprouts, I've never got them through to the autumn of the year. By the time autumn comes, the caterpillars have devastated them. The butterflies get here, lay their eggs, caterpillars devastate them. but hopefully I've taken enough precautions this year and I should be able to get those Brussels sprouts across the finish line, but only time will tell. Shall we have a closer look at those Brussels sprouts? Yeah, let's do it. That's the Brussels sprouts. I think they're standing about 3 foot tall at the moment, so there's probably another couple of foot of growing left in those Brussels sprouts before they start producing sprouts. Okay, let's do the next raised bed. At the bottom of your screen, at this end of the raised bed, I've got 12 Swedes growing. Just behind the Swedes, I've got 2 rows of 11 leeks growing. I think the variety is Musselburgh. They're probably far too close together, but they're going to grow. That's it, they're in. That's it. Right, what we got behind that, let's have a look. At the bottom of your screen now, just behind that seed tray, there are a short row of cabbages there, 5 cabbages. The variety is Greyhound. Right behind Greyhound, what looks to be a much bigger cabbage, this is a variety I've never grown before, it's Killerzol. That's 5 cabbages. The variety is Killerzol. And right behind those cabbages, let's see if we can get these into shot. Right behind those cabbages, there are 5 cauliflowers growing. And behind that, squeezed in right on the end, you may be able to see the flowers now, there's a row of peas. I've got quite a mixture growing in this bed. It will be hard for me to split them for you, but if I tell you I've got a mix of onions grown from sets and from seed, and the onions grown from seed are Walla Walla and Ailsa Craig, and the onions grown from sets are Turbo, and I think there's about 9 in each of these rows. To be honest, the ones I've started from seed, I don't hold out a great deal of hope, although we'll keep them going. We will keep them going, but these were started early in the year, and as you know, we had quite a number of days of frost in April, and I was struggling with these to get them out and get them hardened off and get them in, and to be honest, they didn't grow as well as they have done in the past in their early stages. But we are where we are, they're in the raised bed, only time will tell. And further back in this bed, if I just pan the camera up a bit, right at the back there are some Zeebroen shallots. I think there's 2 or 3 rows of those, and then I've squeezed another row of leeks in right at the back. Why did I do that? Because I had some. There wasn't the room, but I don't like waste, and I had them, so they were going in. And I think you'll probably see there's also another row of peas right at the back end of that bed. Now, out of the corner of your eye, you can probably see, top right hand corner, my rhubarb. So let's spin round, have a quick look at that. There's my rhubarb. We've had 1 feed off it this year, and I've got to admit, since I took that rhubarb off, it really has come on strongly. It looked weak, it looked frail, and I didn't think I was going to get anything off it. So I stripped a lot of thin rhubarb out of it, plus 1 or 2 stems that we could cook, and since I've done that, it's really taken off. Really taken off. Okay, I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else to look at in the garden. There's a few flowers. Would you like to look at the flowers? Yeah, alright, we'll have a look at the flowers. If you don't like flowers, now's the time to leave the channel. If you do, just stay with me for another couple of minutes. We'll finish off with just this short clip from Courgette Corner. Hope you've enjoyed this video. This is Homegrown Veg, signing out.